Hi, it's Lyle from Made by Marley. Welcome back to our channel. Do you ever start a project and in your head you think it's going to be, well, I'll explain, you think it's going to be autumnal and tasteful, but it ends up being outrageous and bougie? You're allowed to change your mind. I give you full permission. You're allowed to do what makes you happy. And I started with 2 boring lamps, and this is what I've ended up with. Today I am going to be updating and hopefully making these 2 lamps better. They've got nice bones. If it wasn't for that glassy part and maybe this kind of cheap brassy look, they'd be nice. The shades are nice and they kind of look a bit vintage. So what we're going to start with today, well, whatever I do on one, we'll do on another, and I'll work between them. It's always a kind of good thing when I've got 2 because I've got things to work between. Right, let's just get this equipment out of the way. Now, I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go for a sort of, I don't want it themey, so I don't want pumpkins or anything like that, but I'm going to go for a sort of autumnal feel, sort of autumnal colours with some blues in it and quite bougie and dark. There's going to be a lot of stamping, some stenciling, and we'll see what we can throw at this. So let's just talk some colours first of all. I have Florongs out because I paint with that all the time, even if I shouldn't. I've got the autumnal sort of colours. I've got these colours here. So I'll run you through them all in a minute. So I have Emperor Silk, which is a red, Oxford, do you know, I've had brain fade.
Amsterdam green.
Amsterdam green. It's not Oxford anything. Amsterdam green, which is a dark racing green. I've got Barcelona orange, which is a nice bright orange. I've got Tilton, which is a sort of not quite a lemony orange. Yellow is a kind of, this isn't going well today, is it? It's a yellow. I've got Hornflower, which is a brown, and I've got Florongs, which is a sort of turquoisey colour. Now in here I have a mix of Frida blue and Amsterdam green. Got it right this time. It's a little bit of paint left over from another project that I want to use up, and it's a nice colour. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and do a sort of, imagine a kind of, we'll put the sort of autumny colours in the centre. Now this isn't going to be a blend, it's going to be more of a mingle. We're going to mingle them all together. Can you paint these lampshades? Yes, you can. And I do have a previous video, which is a dopamine one, a dopamine video, dopamine design, making you feel giddy and happy by creating. And this is the same kind of deal, really. I'm doing this today because I've got 2 lamps.
Design
Mark
2.0.
But it's just that it's nice to do things like this as well. And I have been asked more for kind of smaller things if you've not got a lot of space, or you've got a small apartment, or you're looking for wall art, or just more smaller things. Back to big furniture next week. And if I'm really honest, in the background I have loads of big pieces of furniture which I am working on for different things. So I'm kind of a little bit like, this is my joy for today. So I've not thought this out. So this is all going to happen as you see it. So I didn't over plan it. I've not done any of those things. I'm just going to have some fun. Now I'm just going to move my stamps over here just now. I think I've overpicked the stamps. I've got so many over there. Now remember, if you haven't got any of these stamps, you can use stencils. And if you don't have stencils, you can use decoupage paper. You can refer back to I'll get Mark to put the link above here. For that video, because I use a lot of decoupage paper and a lot of stencils. Or you can use cutouts, tissue paper. Wallpaper's a little bit thick. You can use sari fabric and glue that on with Mod Podge. There is so many different ways you can update and bougie up a lampshade. So many. But this is one I'm using today, and there are a lot of stamps, but you only need 1 stamp set to make this work. Just change up your colours and do you. So, right. I want to start with my sort of dark greens and blues and turquoises down the bottom. So let's just get some of this on our mix mat. Oh, onto our mix mat. You notice I haven't got a black. I'm trying to. Oh, I did that twice. I must have enjoyed it. I want to put that red over there, but we will bring out the brown there. And here's this mixy colour. Now, before I start, I'm just going to give these all a wee scoosh on my mix mat. Just thins everything down a little bit. And my brush is already damp because I've just cleaned it. So let's sort of kind of start with this sort of brown. Now you've got to be careful at the bottom edge because you don't want it to go down and under the fabric. So I kind of paint upwards like that so that I know it's not going anywhere. We're fine once we get past this lip, but you don't want brown under here. So don't go gung-ho just now. Oh, dropping things off. So whatever I do on this one, I'll be repeating on the next one. Got to get the paint on first. So I'm only going to do maybe 3 sections at a time. I think that's the best way to deal with this. Now I'm going to start blending or mingling. Just on the screen. There we go. On this side. Barry, why don't you get a chair and come closer to me?
I am getting a chair.
I won't bite you. There we go. A bit more of this. Now, if you think your paint isn't moving, just put a little bit of water on it. You don't want to oversaturate it, but you don't want to. I'm just going to start mingling some brown in here again. Just kind of. And each part can be slightly different, and I think that'll add to the overall sort of interest. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same at the top. Now, I'm not even cleaning my brush.
You rebel.
Oh, I know. But I'm known for that, Maren. It's the way I roll. But I'm going to kind of get a smaller brush because I do not want it to go onto the white. There's nothing worse. I've done it so many times where I've touched dirty finger marks in there and I could have wept. Well, it's only a lampshade. What I do then is I just paint the inside as well, so nothing's lost. There's a top tip if it all goes a little bit awry.
I meant to paint the inside.
I'm painting the inside as well. Yeah. So if you come back later and my inside's painted, you know what I've done. It's all gone a bit awry. It's got away from me.
Yeah.
All right.
And any time in the future as well. If you see it, it's paint on the inside, you know what
you know what's happened. Oh, I'm just going to paint the inside gold. Actually, do you know what? It could actually paint the inside of this gold when we get it done. I want that sort of little browny edge at the top because that's kind of framing it off. I want to bring it slightly down lower than that because we're going to put some bougie trim around the top, so you still want to see a brown. Now we're going to start. I am going to change my brush at this point and get some autumnal colours on this. Now this again is a wet brush because I've just washed them, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Autumnal colours. Let's get some. Let's move this over a wee bit. I'm running out of room already. It's going to be one of those days. A yellow. You don't actually need much paint to do a lampshade. I imagine this will probably do both. If I'm not going to bother spraying these because my brush is quite wet. Now, oh, made a mistake. I should have really went with yellow first beside the green, but never mind. We'll do this in the scent and we'll come back in a minute. Don't worry, I am going to get these transitions. It's all going to work in a fabulous way in a minute. Just want to get my colour on before I start working and blending it into each side. I want some brown. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. If I add the brown onto here, I'll be able to bring it up. Now, right now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, well. Stop it, you. Don't be jiggy.
You were saying?
Me off,
you know what they're thinking.
I was thinking that you were probably thinking, oh, this looks rubbish, but don't worry, it is.
Oh, have some faith. Yeah,
yeah, you got to keep the Got to keep faith. I want this kind of band because this is where the stamping's going to go. So there is method in my madness, but I don't want it to look like it's just suddenly stopped and it's not going anywhere. So you have to kind of feather it out. Just take a little bit just to get it down there. Take a little wee bit. I need this other brush now. No, I'm actually quite happy with that. Right, let's just put the brown on again with this little brush. I should have done that the first time round, then I wouldn't have been so worried about it. But, you know, I do silly things. I mean, I'm going to do this side as well just to show you, and then I'm going to just go away and do the other one while they both dry. And then we'll come back and we'll set up for the stamping and the design of this. I think we'll do some stenciling first, then some stamping. Why not? Why not, eh, Martin?
Why not?
You can,
Yeah.
you can do whatever you
Why not?
like.
We've got all day.
Well, we haven't really.
I know.
Yeah,
We've got some of the
we've
day.
got some of the day. We're quite busy at the moment. And
There's a lot going on.
yeah, my back and knee is really sore. So this was a great way of me not having to stand and paint big pieces of furniture. And I always think lampshades make me incredibly happy.
For all those of you who like the more sort of, shall we say, tabletop craft projects, you're going to get your wish soon enough, because as Lel said, she's going to be having her knee surgery soon, so she's going to be forced to do it.
And then after that, maybe hip surgery. So we'll see how it goes. Oh,
You're a poor wee soul, aren't you?
I'm all right. I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm like
you're not, darling.
I just rattle through it. But yesterday,
You are a trooper.
I had a whole day of, I worked from morning to night, didn't I, Matty? Just painted
did.
all day and crawled around the floor. And I said to Matty, I don't think I can do that tomorrow. I said, let's do something that involves me sitting on a chair. And I know that this will make the people that we're looking for smaller sort of crafts. Plus, to be honest with you, I think it's this, I mean, we're not quite in autumn here, but it's coming, and I'm not somebody that goes crazy about changing things for the seasons, but I do like a little touch in the home, and I'm sure I can't be the only one. So, you know, this is quite a nice idea. But I also want to make them that it's almost like it could be any time of the year. It doesn't have to just be autumnal. They're just a bit bougie, that's all. There we go. I've been furiously painting, for those that aren't in my private channel group or on Facebook. I am being picked to be part of the Annie Sloan, the first Annie Sloan UK Painters Challenge, and I'm in it. So, and my piece is humongous. It's huge. I mean, it is huge. That's all I'm going to say.
No, couldn't do anything small.
And it's very involved. So,
She says very involved as well. She
so it's taken up a lot. That's not what I was painting yesterday. Actually, I was painting other stuff. But I'll tell you what I was doing. I was doing pieces, Indian pieces yesterday, and it was really good fun.
If I was allowed to, I would show you what she's been up to, but it's all under wraps until the date of the, the challenge. So
Yeah,
use your imagination. That was gone, basically.
I have videoed the Annie Sloan Challenge piece, but to be honest with you, it's not so much a tutorial as just me labouring away. It's been a few weeks now, and I've only done 2 cupboards, and it finishes in a week. I'll get there.
Well, that's why we've been so busy, basically, to free up the time so Lel can finish that.
Yeah. I really like this. I'm quite happy with it so far. I'm just going to bring the turquoise up into here. I'm going to just put a wee spot brown along here as well. Just don't want it to like obvious that it's like a kind of straight line. I'm not kind of going for that. I'm going to kind of almost think of ombre. Do you remember when ombre hair was a thing? My daughter had ombre hair at one point. Yeah, she's had every colour of hair. Now, oh,
Is the inside going to be painted?
look, it's seeping through, right? we're having gold inside our lampshades. I'm just, that wasn't my error. It's just obviously this line is touching it. Oh, happy days. They're always quite nice. I think the gold.
It was always going to be better painted gold inside anyway.
Can I say, oh, I've went and got giddy there and didn't do my blue. I think at the end of the day, to be honest with you, it'll go with the deal that I'm trying to do. So I'm quite happy if it's got some gold inside. Keep forgetting what I'm saying when I'm talking. Let's just mingle these a little bit better as well. Feels like this part here is kind of not got much colour on it. Right, this is a bit boring now. I can tell that you're thinking, well, I can't tell because you're not here, but I can tell. I'm thinking this is a bit much, right? So I'm going to get on. I'm going to do this, finish this one, and do that one over there, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've painted the outside and now I'm doing my fix on the inside, and I'm watered down my gold paint and I'm just sweeping it up and down in the inside, giving it that sort of burnished gold look. I've made sure that I've gone round all of these edges here because they're quite important, and now I'm going to flip it round and do the other side. This side's a little bit more awkward. You have to kind of go a wee bit slower. Because it did really run through, but what I've found with this paint is if you kind of scrub it with your brush, it kind of gets rid of it. Now, I don't normally have this problem with the real vintage lampshades because they're so far out and they've got different insides, but this is the first one that's ever done this. It's normally me that makes a mess of them, but I'm okay with this. I'm going to paint this gold at the end, so I don't mind if it gets gold, and I don't really mind if it gets on this rim. What I was kind of doing was just brushing this with the gold as I went. There's going to be loads more happening to this. This is just the set and the scene before all the design work's done. But you just water down your gold paint and kind of scrub it, almost with your brush. And that should make it all come good. Now I've got one over there that's already dry. This is me on my second one, and in a minute, once I've got this one finished, we'll come back and we'll start designing the one that's dry. Okay, so now, I mean, this is just to give it a bit of depth. It's not particularly autumnal, but I was looking for something long that I could adjust as I went. Now, this isn't the easiest thing to do. What I kind of do is bend it and work in sections because I think that's the best way to achieve what we're trying to do here. So kind of bend your stencil onto your lampshade. Now the lampshade will move with it. So, and this is just the beginning layer. So we don't have to strive for everything to be perfect. But, you know, it'd be nice if it was. I just need to twist it around this side now. Sorry, Matty.
It's all right.
So this is coming down here like this. And then we maybe want...
I like the way the golds come through.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was just saying to Matty where the colour went through to the gold. When I put the gold on, it kind of came through to the front and it's given it a really nice look. No more paint should go through it now because I'm not watering anything down. It's just paint, as in just paint. So all I'm going to do is work my way around this just to give it a little bit of movement. That's all I'm doing. I'm offloading my paint and making sure that I don't get bleed through. And it's not the simplest thing to stencil a lampshade. Well, maybe not with this kind of stencil, but it's not the most tricky thing either. You just have to go slowly. Try not to rush it. We want something kind of going this way. And when you've done it, it ends up like this one here, which has already been done. Yeah. So I'm going to finish this one, get this one the same as this one, and then I'll be back again and we'll start stamping. Okay, so you end up with something like this. Now, when things like this happen, because the stencil's moving about, don't worry about it, because this is just the beginning. We're just setting the scene. Right, stamps. What have I got here? I've got, I don't know where all of these are from. I think this might be from the Adornment stamp, but the Christmas one. Painterly Roses, Fronds. I think it's called Fruitful Harvest. Lady Shalott, Fruitful Harvest, Fronds, 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 Fruitful Harvest. I amn't really sure where this is from, to be honest with you. I think it might be from Lady Shalott, or it could be from the Birds and Bees. I don't think it's from the Birds and Bees. It might be from Lady Shalott. Fronds. This is from the Adornment. And I've got this feather, which is from the Pastiche stamp. I don't know if we'll use that. Right, okay. Let's separate all leaves out. Now, if you don't have leaves, as I said, you can start fussy cutting and decoupaging leaves. You can cut them out of fabric. You can then paint the veins on. There's loads of things you can do. I'm just using stamps because I have them, but it doesn't mean to say that you can't do this project, because you can. I'm putting the flowers and all the other things over the other side. I think the berries are going to play quite a large part, I think. I'm just going to pop the stamps over here now, because first I want a sort of mid-green. Oh, did you see that fly? Got the attention span of a smarty. Right, okay. A little bit of yellow. And let's see what colour this makes. We might need to add a little bit of white. Just don't want it too dark, but I don't want it too light either. Maybe a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to need the brown, because obviously it's autumnal and right now it's looking quite tropical, and we need to change that look quite quick. It's not the look I'm going for. It's not my vibe. Not that I don't mind tropical, I do, but it's just, it's not going to work for me. Brown. I put the brown down on the floor because it was leaking. This is the second one that's been leaking this week.
Don't worry, I ordered you some new ones.
I know you did. That was really very good of you. Now,
I'm glad you think so.
oh, it was, Matt, and it was. Now, a couple of mini rollers. These are well used little beauties, but they're great for paint. I'm using paint and not ink, only because we're going to need this quite juicy. And I think ink going over this sort of texture surface is going to be a wee bit of a struggle. So what we're doing first is we're putting our leaves on, but I'm going to start with the biggest and work my way down. So see this fern, when in autumn they kind of turn brown, so we're going to do a wee bit of a mix of both colours on this stamp. So as per usual, push all your ink to the side, and then let's just put the green on first, and we'll come back and we'll get some brown, because we want a little bit of everything. Steal a little bit of the brown. Now this could potentially look a bit camouflagey, we'll see. All right, I want this bad boy coming about here. Now you're gonna have to commit with these and do as much as you can on the flat face first, and then we'll try and fold it slightly. It'll be easier for me with the ones that I have taken off of the clear backing, but I don't want to remove the ones. It was a thing I did when I first got stamps years ago. I took them off the clear backing, but I now know maybe that was an error on my part. I'm just making sure I can push it from the other side. Now you're going to have to be quite dexterous at this point, I think. Let's see how that looks. Quite faded, but I think that's okay. Let's put a little bit more brown in this. So what I'm going to do, I have over here, I have a brown acrylic, which might give us a little bit more impact. Oh, let's try this instead. Now, you're going to have a basin of water if you put an acrylic. I mean, it's bad enough with chalk paint, but if you're using acrylic on your stamps, I really want somewhere where I can have it coming up. Aha, here looks good. Right, so I'm committing to this part first. And then I'm kind of folding it over to the other side. My idea is to get quite a layered look before I start putting any flowers or anything on it, or berries. Let's see how that works. Yeah. You don't want your background layers too dark, because remember, you're going to build up the colour, and I'm not looking for them to be too dark at this point. Let's just tickle that with some green. Here. Here, I don't want to do too many of that side. Let's pop this one over to the side for a minute, and let's get this ivy on. Now this I'm going to be painting in, but I still need a colour for it. I'll just do it in brown because I'm going to be painting it in anyway. So, oops. Right, let's have a go at this. It isn't easy, but if you get your first stamp down, we can kind of fix it a little bit with paint it, stamp it, paint it. Yeah, stamp it, paint it, stamp it on. Something I want me to do. Right, let's have a look at that. Perfect. Right, let's do one more of these. I'm only going to show you one, and then I'll go away and paint it, and then I'll come back, and I think I want this one coming down here because it is ivy. I've got a cousin called Ivy. Haven't I?
You have.
She's crazy.
She is a wild one.
We had great fun when we were growing up. Right, there you go. Do I want another piece of maybe here? And you can see what I'm doing. I'm building it all up in a design that I like. And it doesn't matter at the end if I'm putting things on top of it. It matters more to me that the kind of concept works. And right now, as I said, it's looking slightly tropical, which I don't want. I think it's just because it's kind of sunsetty colours in the middle. Here. That's enough ivy, I think. Put that one to the side. Put some of these on. I'm going to stamp these in green. I might not stamp it with these ones. I might just put them on as green, but we'll see how this comes out. I think I've overloaded that one there. Played it safe on that one and put it on a flat panel. And this is just gonna be one of those ones where it takes a bit of time to build it all up. I do like that just in the green. We won't paint this one in. Oops, I've touched it in there as per usual. Wouldn't be me without something like that. I'm going to bring this one right the way down here. No, I don't want to put my hands inside it when I've just touched up against that paint. I think this might be a job you could do when you're standing up, actually. It doesn't really show up on there. Epic fail, man. Try it somewhere else because I really liked it on the other one. I want a little bit brown in that. I'm really saturating them because it is quite a difficult surface to stamp on. This one should be more camera worthy, Mary.
Do you think?
Well, let's see. it is. Don't worry about that. We'll put some berries or something over there. What next? What else could we use here? So I always really like this one. And we'll put this on, I think, with a darker green. I don't need a whole heap of it. Just want some of it.
Missed that completely.
Sorry, I'll go slower. It was only the edge of it. Did you get it now?
I did.
I slowed right down for you. And it was accommodating. Oh, look at that. Slop of paint. So you can see, all I'm going to do is use all these stamps that I've got to build it all up. You're not missing anything. I'm just going to do it and then we'll get to the next stage, okay? Okay, on my little roller, I'm now starting to add colours over the top of this. So this is the sort of kind of a mustardy yellow. And we'll do a few of these on the piece. We're just filling it up just now before I go back to do the Stamp It, Paint It, Stamp It parts. Just maybe one down here, even though it might not show up as well. Yeah, this is the other lampshade. I'm on the second one, but I just got it to the same stage we left it at and thought carry on. This one, I just wanted to see what it would look like on the other one. So again, that. Now, what do you do with the ivy? So let's get some water on our brush, and it's basically you're just painting them in because we're going to stamp over the top of them. Just, you know, sort of autumnal colours. Maybe some orange here. And that is all I've done with those. You're just building up a scene, really. It always looks a little bit untidy before you've gone over it. And maybe a little bit more green on this edge here. Now, ivy doesn't actually turn brown, but I'm using a bit of artistic license because I can. You've nothing to say on that, Martin, have you?
No, not on this occasion.
Nothing to add. I thought you would have a sassy quip. But you didn't.
No, I didn't, did I?
No. Water on the palette. Smooth it around. So try and get rid of the black line because we're going to be stamping over the top of it. Kind of connect these. And what I've done is, on the other one is, anywhere where this green was, I've just kind of went with different kinds of colours. I think I just take my brush off my lampshade there, but I'm not entirely sure. And so just kind of ran it in here, did things like this. This here, I kind of just did a little bit of, I'm not painting it in and stamping over the top of this one. I'm doing a mix of kind of everything. So not so much stamp it, paint it and stamp it on these. I'm just kind of putting a little bit of colour into the lamp. And I'm still only working on the leaf shapes right now. That's all I'm working on. So let's fill these in. I'll probably stamp back over this one. You're just filling up and making it kind of interesting. That's all. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just keep my size. I can never tell. Got quite a nice shadow around it if I do it this way. So some of it's Stamp It Paint and Stamp It, some of it's just stamping, some of it's just stamped once with a little bit of paint on it, and you're just kind of alternating it until you get what you're looking for. So this one here is going to be a little bit more red, this leaf with some mustard. Sorry, Marion, tipping across you. So I'm going to go on, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp over the top of these, but I'm going to show you how it looks at the stage where this part is complete, because I just didn't want to go too far ahead. Oops, got a bit heavy with the green there. So, and these will all come to life when they've got the stamping over the top of them. Make that a little bit paler there because it's going to go onto the green. There. Anywhere with this sort of leaves, I've just kind of went like this and just kind of, you know, I've just kind of used artistic license just to kind of link them up. So that's how it looks right now. I've got to go around it all again and do all the bits I've just showed you. And then you get to something like this. So this is it. At this, when that part's all done, this is the I did touch it with, oh no, I think I hit my brush off there, but it's red, it's gone in the right area. So this is where we're at now. So I'm going to get this one, same stage as this one. Okay? Okay, so in my infinite wisdom, I was going to put more stamps on this and then start kind of using it up, but I went into my drawer and I had a couple of sheets left over of this transfer. I think it's Joie de Roses. Well, I had a couple of sheets a minute ago.
Is the back on that?
No, it's just one. It's the one with a bird.
Can't tell you where it is.
No, it doesn't tell you on the back, Camel.
Okay.
I don't know what I've done with my other sheet, but I did have a sheet a minute ago and it was called Joie de Roses. So here it is. Losing my mind. So I've only got one bird, so we'll just have to share him per set of lamps. But before I can put anything like this onto my lampshade, so I'm going to set that over the side, I'm going to take these outside and I'm going to give them a coat of clear varnish spray, okay? Just so that when I go to put the transfers on fabric are quite easy, but you still need a little bit of tooth, and I'd be happy if it was sealed. Right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to come back up. I'll have taken the lamp, because they gave us them with the bulbs. Take the bulbs out, take this part off, tape up here so that we don't get this covered in paint, and then we'll start painting these. I'll paint. I was toying with not painting this, but I'm going to paint this part as well. Make them all sort of one uniform colour and maybe then just wax them. So I'll go and I'll do the lampshades first so they're drying, and then we'll come back and paint this. Okay, so all I did was I added a little bit more Florence into this pot that had the darker bluey green, so that I could have enough for both lampshades. And I'm going to paint all the way up to the top in this colour. It's a nice colour, so I've got rather a lot of paint on my brush right now because I mixed the paint together with this brush. So I mean, you're not missing anything at this point. That's all I'm doing. I'm just painting this so that it's all nice, and I'll give it 2 coats. I think you want it quite hard wearing, and then what I'll do before it's fully cured is I think I might wet distress the gold back through it on the bottom. I think that might be quite nice, or rub gold over the top. 6 and 2 is 3s, isn't it? And Annie Sloan paint will paint plastic. It's no problem. Just have to give it 2 coats. First coat always looks a little bit kind of slightly dodgy, but the second coat will be fine. Flip that round. Already they look so much better. And this way, when you're flipping it round, just make sure you're getting in I've got a kind of really fluffy brush to do this, but it's a nice smooth one as well, so it'll do the glass, but just make sure you're getting all your wee parts as you do it. So I'm going to get on, paint these 2 coats of the turquoise, and then we'll get to putting the transfers on the lampshade. Okay, so I've brought my shades back in. We hung them up to dry after they'd been sealed. And I've painted my bases, which I've had 2 coats of the florals. Now, I understand this has taken a strange turn. It was supposed to be a autumnal, but it's still going to be kind of autumnal. It's just that I have these and there's not enough for a piece of furniture, so I may as well capitalise on what I've got. Now, this is going to be too big, so I'm going to slice it this way. And that way I can put, I think I'm going to have everything, am I having it coming from the top or the down? I don't know. I don't know is the answer. Where is my trusty transfer stick? Let's have a wee look, see. Let's put this one on first. I'm hoping this is going to work because it maybe isn't going to be the right colours, but we'll see once it's on. Right, there's no real difference to putting a transfer on a lampshade than there is putting it on a piece of furniture, but we're going round corners here, so we have to do the edges first. So that's what I'm doing. And having a coat of sealer on will help. You just need to rub a wee bit more, but rub quite gently. We're going to fold this round to this corner. And with all transfers, quite often it gets easier when you go around a corner because it makes a little, kind of lifts it a bit. So let's see if that happens. Yeah, I can see it lifting there. But there's no, there's no hard and fast rules. I mean, once I've done this, I will seal it because it's got a transfer on it again, just because, well, it's good practice. Not that you're going to be throwing a lot of water around a lampshade, but it's just it'll protect it. It means you can dust it. For those that enjoy dusting. I mean, I don't, but no, maybe some people do. Some people enjoy it. My son-in-law loves to clean. Just gently, 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 gently. And don't be tempted to do what I was just doing there and kind of hurry it along too much. That won't be good for it. So you can see it's a wee bit of a slower process doing it on a lamp, but we'll get there. I'm still not entirely sure about the orange, but this transfer had oranges in it. So I think it should go once I've got more on. It's maybe going to look a little bit strange to begin with, but I think you just have to kind of trust what you're doing is going to work out. That's what I say. I'm sticking to that one. Now, if it's a little bit wrinkled, just smooth it out. Don't worry about that edge up there, it's going to be covered. I can already see this is going places. We're good. If you feel like that patch there is annoying, you could probably try and get it off if you wanted to, like that. There. Part here as well. Just break it with my nail. I'm whispering, sorry, it's because I'm concentrating. Right, let's put another piece on and then I'll go ahead and do this because you don't need to see me doing. If there's a rose on this side, let's just kind of do it the opposite side here and put this rose here. I should have picked a smaller one. It took me long enough for that one. You notice I'm taking it up into the highest part. We can get rid of this over here that's too high. I thought that was my transfer stick that's a bit hard. And again, flat surface first because you don't want to start over here. You've got to try and do your, it's just like when I tell you to do it on furniture, it's just the same deal. And it'll stay on nicely. I mean, if you've never put transfers on, you can also put inlays on lampshades. And again, if you go to the video above, I'll get Mark to put a link. Well, that'll be twice the link's been in it, but that video of the lampshade, it has inlays on it, doesn't it, Mark?
It does.
I was just checking I was right. Let's just take this round here now.
Well, I'll be honest and say I'm agreeing with you enthusiastically. but I've got no idea.
Ah!
I don't
Are you
remember.
a yes man? We don't want one of those.
Oh, yes, it has.
Thing is, you're not at all.
I'm trying to remember. I think it might have, yes.
Oh, it has. It has. It's got
Yeah, have a look.
Bird of Paradise inlays on it. The one with the birds with the blue green. It has. It has. It has. It has. No worries. Right, so we've got this side on, and we're just moving along to this side here. So I'm going to get on, and I am going to put all my transfers along here. I can't quite make up my mind if I'm going to put them down the bottom, maybe some leaves, and if I do that, I'll come back and I'll show you that process. But you've seen me do transfers a million times, and there's not any difference putting a transfer on here than there would be putting a transfer on a piece of furniture. Okay. So I said I'd come back if I decided that I was going to put them down the bottom, and I did decide I was going to put them back down the bottom. So I'm just going to put this last one on before I show you them and show you what I've been up to. I don't really want to cover that piece of ivy up, so let's do this like this. Now I've worked out if I scrape up and down like this, it cracks them and it gives them a really more of an aged appearance. So that's what I'm doing, kind of cracking them as I go. Normally, if it's a piece of furniture, that would fill me with dread, but on this occasion, it's filling me with joy. See? Happy days. I hope this one cracks. It would be sad if you don't get to see it. So again, I'm still doing the same thing, flat side first and then round the corner. Like, this one hasn't really cracked much, to be fair. Typical, isn't it? Let me just show you all the way around right now. And I'll show you this one, because this one's the one with the bird on. See these little leaves? They came from this transfer. I don't know what it's called. It's one of the new ones. I'm just taking the leaves really, because the leaves are really making sort of a wee bit of a difference. So this one's done, and this one just needs some green leaves. And then we will, I'll show you around this one. I think I've just done that, have I, Martin? I'm losing my mind. See how cracked and nice that looks? So that's the pieces of transfer on, and I'll just show you what the green leaves going on. So let's just, I want to keep the flowers for another day. So if we just take the leaf off here like this, that way I can use them again. So let's just have some more green coming down from here. And it's just a layered kind of look. And I actually really like them. But what I'm about to show you literally is going to make your eyes bleed. And I don't, if you're new to the channel, I do not want you to go away. I've got some trim, but I'm going to have to adjust my trim. Martin's laughing already.
I've seen the trim.
It's not the trim I would have chosen, but I think it'll work if we do some adjustments.
It is the trim you chose.
It's just, well, I've got it now, but it's very it's very orange. So let me just show you what it is, and we're going to paint it. So this is the trim, but I didn't realize that this was radioactive orange, because I thought this was quite nice. So I'm going to put this on it, but what we'll have to do is, and
it's overloading the camera. It's that bright.
I know, it is absolutely terrible. I mean, if you're new at my channel, we can make this work. I promise we can. So Annie Sloan chalk paint, you can paint fabric, so we're good. And I just need a kind of neater brush to do this. So it's actually quite thick. Let's just water my paint down a little bit, and I'm going to try and get rid of this luminous orange, and I'll paint both sides as well, and then I'll let it dry and then glue it on, because I'm going to put some green velvet over the top of here anyway. But I mean, this is just too much already. Starting to, I mean, some of these feathers are a little bit orange. I wonder if I could go, oh yeah, see?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We could do some of that as well. Make it right. So I'm going to do enough that'll work. Stop laughing at me. And already that looks way more tasteful. Maybe a wee bit more of this orange away. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, this is what we've got.
I'm sure you're going to make it look brilliant.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. I'm just going to dull some of these down and we'll dry them off a bit. But I already think that that looks better, and I think when it goes on, it is going to be nice. But the other side is just as equally as awful. So let's just do that too. Not that it's going to matter, because this is the side that's going to be glued on, but it's just,
So you don't want any hint.
I
Of
just
that
don't
left.
want any hint of the stop laughing at the orange, Martin. Stop.
You
Oh,
got me to order it yesterday. I was like, "Are you sure?"
to be fair, I just saw, I saw the turquoisey blue in the feathers, and it said orange, and I thought that's strange. It's not really orange. And then Martin opened it up and he started laughing, and then that was it. It was all too much for him after there. There, I'm fixing it, and it's going to work.
I remember in the picture that you showed me there being purples and things as well. I don't see any purple in that.
Oh, what's that? Oh, I can't really
You
remember.
can't send it back
I
now.
was very busy yesterday, Matty. So
Amazon returns. You know?
it was,
I've changed my mind here. I painted it green for you.
it's much more tasteful now. Have it back. Yeah, see, I think this is going to be fine, because this is going to be glued on there, and then I'm going to get this nice tasteful ribbon to go over the top of it. So it is going to come
Can you
good.
see the tasteful ribbon?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just velvet ribbon. I mean, I could go without it and stick it on here, but I'm invested in this now, and I'm going to make it work. I had originally had this, but it's not long enough.
I don't know if it's just the camera or
What?
whether it is that bright.
It is that bright. It is luminous. I did have these bougie beads, but I've not got enough to go all the way around, and I thought that would have been really nice and quite tasteful, but I don't have those. I don't have enough. I've only got this much. So
Got enough to go in the tops of.
no, I haven't got enough to go around the tops either. I measured it. No, we're having to go.
We're stuck with
We're,
this.
we're running with this, Martin. Now, as much as, I mean, like, hang on a minute. I can't really hold it up, but once it's on, I think it's actually going to be fine. We can dull it. We can dull it. Oh gosh, it's terrible when it's spacing right up.
It's all coming up.
Oh. Okay, well, that was a really messy job, and all I'm going to say is we still don't know if this is going to work. It's such a thick trim, and it doesn't bend very well, so we're just going to put it on in little parts. Now, we don't want any judgment until we've got the velvet on top. I am still unclear of how this is quite going to work, but we'll forge on. It might be pretty. Might be. It was sitting beside the lamp over there, and it looked like it matched, so I don't know. Oh, I think it's going to be fine. This is quite bumpy. I'm hoping that it's because it's really thick, and now it's been painted, it's even thicker. Now, I'm just applying hot glue in little sections right now until I get my bearings on how this is going
We're
on.
going to have to fuff up some of the feathers.
Fuff them up.
Yeah.
Well, we'll fuff them. Don't worry. Fuffed feathers is the least of it right now. We have to see if it actually looks good with the trim on. That can be your job. You can fuff the feathers. I'm thinking I actually quite like it. Those little folds in this make it look quite, well, quite nice. Let's do all the way, and then I wish I could ask people on the channel right now whether they liked it or not, whether I could keep going. See, you can ask on a live, but you can't.
Should have done it as a live.
Yeah, because they
could have
always
all
tell.
gone, stop right there.
They always tell me. Well, I ask. No, I think it's okay. I think I might have to put some black up the top. I might have to do the top bit black now to kind of compensate for the blacky kind of in the feathers. Forging on. Right, I'm going to keep going with this until we get to the velvet, and we'll see then whether we think this is a winner or a loser. Or then we're going to have to rethink our life choices. I think it's going to be okay. I think I'm just trusting my process right now, so I think it will be fine.
Okay.
I'm sounding just way too optimistic, maybe. So, no, I think it is going to be fine.
Okay.
All right, then I'll go and do this just now. Okay, Martin wants me to spin this just so he can laugh even more. Right, I'm going to have to get different trim because this is how it looks. And Marty says it looks like it's been ravished by a cat. So what I've decided is
it looks like the cat at the rooster that it came from.
it's not good. And this is too clunky and heavy and it's not delicate enough. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't got any, but I'm going to order some more of this beady trim. And I'm going to put the beads, and I think I might order enough that I can put it around the top as well.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be really nice and bougie, whereas this isn't just bougie, it's a mess.
So we will continue. We will continue this tomorrow.
Okay, I'm going to take all this back off. For those that do things like this and you think, oh, I've ruined it, it's not quite set with the hot glue yet, so I'm just whipping the because I'll use this again, and I'm just going to pull this off of the shade, and nothing will have come, it won't have come to any harm. It's just going to have a bead of hot glue on it, but that's fine because we're going to be putting a bead of hot glue back over the top of it anyway. No, it's there's bougie and bougie, and maybe yesterday I was really busy working, and I really maybe wasn't concentrating.
Do you think?
Oh, I don't think I was concentrating at all. I mean, I was horrified when I started looking at it, and I thought,
I distinctly remember saying to you when you
"Are
said,
you sure?"
it's in the Amazon basket, and we go, "Are you sure?" And you said,
Yeah.
"Yes, it'll be lovely. It'll be really bougie."
I'm gonna make Martin wear this now. Right, okay, we're starting filming for today.
In the future, look out for the new Made by Molly headdresses that will be available.
Available on our website now. Or a feather boa. Right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye. Okay, so Marty's just about stopped laughing of the comedy yesterday with the rooster feathers. It's my choice. Not everybody can do the right choices all the time, and I wasn't really paying attention. Today, obviously when I went into the house last night, I wasn't paying attention again because I've bought more fringe, but it's kind of the wrong colour. But I'm going to make it work. And while I was rooting around for things, I found lots of other things. So this is going to get out of hand very quickly because I've got a whole load of bougie elements that I'm now going to glue onto these. So this is the trim. So let's start by hot gluing this on before I add any more elements. I've got them both on their stands right now, but they will be coming off while I do the bottom parts. The what are they called, Martin? The bases.
Yeah. So
start with a little bit of hot glue. Tuck in your, well, you don't need to tuck in your first bit. Your last bit should cover it. Now we're going to have to go quite slowly, because we don't have a lot of wiggle room with this trim. It's quite thin. And Martin, after all the giggling yesterday, very kindly stood and picked off all the hot glue from yesterday. And I said he didn't have to, but he said he would. So,
I said, it won't sit nice if you just leave all that on there.
And I was like, oh, sorry. I don't know why I've got all those stays on inks there. I obviously had some sort of plan and then forgot what it was. I think it's always best to do tiny little sections at a time. I think this is going to be nice.
You know what you need, don't you? One of those little rubber finger caps.
Man, don't start. For anybody that decides to write to tell me about those little plastic finger caps, I do have them. You're just doing that. You're
causing trouble.
Causing trouble. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing.
And make you be like, oh.
No, I won't be. I won't be. I've been very, very mindful of my fingers. I normally do things like that off camera. I remember when I first started doing YouTube, and I was in the house in my wee craft room, and I used to do a lot of crafts back then, until I realised that people actually just wanted to see me paint furniture. But anyway, I was in my little craft room and I was filming a video because it was before Martin, you know, came to be with me, and I was making a Christmas thing, and on camera I stuck my fingers with the hot glue gun, but I couldn't do anything about it. You can tell my voice as well. I go, oh, that was a little bit hot as my fingers were plastered to this Christmas decoration. I was like, I'm just going to pause the camera and I'll go on and do this part. And then I paused the camera. I was like, ah, run into the kitchen. See, there you go. I'm sticking my hand to it now. I'm getting giddy. So I'm not going to bore you with much more of me sticking some fringes on a lampshade and telling you silly stories. I'll do the rest of these off camera. I'll do both of them off camera so that we get to this stage, because I still think you'll have to be really careful with the glue gun strands. We'll have to go around it all at the end. I still think maybe am I still going to put the velvet ribbon? No, I don't think it needs it, but I will put the velvet ribbon around the tops, I think.
There you go.
Yep, here we go.
Waste not, want not.
No, I think I found a way that I can get those glass tassels in this as well, now that I'm going ultra bougie. This is going from autumnal to just do whatever the heck you like. Whatever takes your fancy, really. Right, okay, I'll be back soon. Okay, so I've got the trims and the velvet on the top, and I found this in my sort of kind of stash of trim and all sorts of things. So I think I know there's no pink on this, and I thought, am I just going crazy with this? But I think I'm going to do it. So I'm going to need a piece for each side, each lamp. So I'm just cutting off the black tape. And I've used one of these before on a piece of furniture. And this was really inexpensive. I think it was about £6. And I got it off Amazon. And I just Googled, no, I didn't Google. I just typed in furniture, fabric applique. And I found them. So they're not that
I'll see if they're still available, and if they are, I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, if you want to do some, because I think this will finish it off really nicely. I was thinking of gluing that onto here. I'll have these bits hanging over and just gluing that onto there like that. I am, of course, now going to have to put a little bit of pink in the shade somewhere, but we'll put this on first. This is what always happens. Things grow arms and legs before you know it. Now, I'm going to do this in parts. I'm going to put some glue on the top first. Now you could Mod Podge this on with fabric Mod Podge, but I'm going to do this. Let's get this down first on the edge, because now it's got a kind of other part to it, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue along here as well. Glue that down. You are going to need a heat tool at the end of this to get rid of all the glue strands. Right. Now we're really going to... You don't want too much glue on it. Just enough to glue it down. It's not going to come back off once it's on. Just make sure you've got a good amount. Just flat that back down. Make sure it's nice and secure. Try and get rid of those glue gun strands. There now. I think that's probably... I have other things that I found when I was there. I found things like this, and I thought, shall I put something up here with something else? Because I've got these little flowers, and I'm thinking, should I do something like that? Yeah, I think, well, this is just taking a whole new turn. This is completely...
Just because you found it doesn't mean to say you have to use it.
Well, I know, I know that, Martin. Don't be sassy. I know that. But I'm thinking it'll kind of like finish it a little bit. And then we're going to have to go back and get some hot pink, and we're going to have to try and deal with putting some hot pink on this. I don't quite know where it's going to go as yet. I don't know how I've got all these buckles from belts, but I've got loads of them. Goodness knows where they came from. I'm scared to think. And do I want this or do I want a leaf? No, I don't think I do. I don't really know what I want. I think I might want both. I'm just going to whip another leaf off of here. Sorry, just dropped my scissors. Now, Martin, did you even think that this was going to go in this direction?
No.
Well,
No.
neither did I.
I think you got to put your fringe on and go, there you go, that's it done.
I
But
know,
I
no.
should have known better, shouldn't I?
Well, I just feel
I don't know why I still think that these days.
if you've got it, flaunt it. Just going to put a bead in the middle here just to cover that all up. It's like it's in a little mini frame, but that's what I'm imagining. Put some gold around there, I think, to match this. Oh, it's grown arms and legs, right? Okay, so I'm happy with this one. And we're going to come back and put some hot pink on this in a minute, and then we're going to do the bases. So let's just bougie this one up. This one hasn't got the bird, so we're going to have to try and create a bit more of a focal image. Where do I want it? Like that big rose, because it's maybe here, because it's looking a little bit plain. Right, what have I got left over here? I've got this big boy here. Look at this. Right, let's just snip this off here. Here. Let's take this off as well. I don't think that's needed. We might need that for something else. Oop. Oh yeah, I don't want to be gluing my tassels in, Martin, do I? Might do a sort of double kind of going up with this one. Right, so same drill. I'm just going to be gluing this on. Let's just do the top edge again, just so I can get position. Position is always really important with things like this. You need to spend the time with position and don't go gung-ho and put all your glue on it as you go, as you start, because then you'll never be able to get your position right, and you'll not be happy. So do little parts first. Then you can go crazy with the glue, but as I said, you could Mod Podge this if you want, but I've got the hot glue gun out, and I thought, well, and to be honest with you, this is taking a whole new curve. This is like, but it's making me happy. And do you know what, at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
That's all we care about.
Yeah, it's true, Martin. And I mean, I know I said I'm just going to glue my tassels on and fix my bases, but now we've got a whole load of stuff going on. Let's just see. I need to just pop a wee bit of glue in this area here. Make sure this down here is glued on. But how are we going to gussy this one up? I think I want a sort of double kind of effect here. Let me have a wee look and see if I can cut this out of here. Put that out of there just now. I'll come back in. Oh, I'm going to cut it in half. I just don't want these bits of black being obvious. Sorry, like a monkey using tools. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to keep that bit at the top. I was thinking of going, how could I go this way? Yeah, I think like that. And I'll glue a few more leaves on it, but let's just position, because I've got it where I want it. I'm not going to move it away from here. I'm just going to stick my parts, my glue down straight away, so I know that I'm in the right place. May as well use it. I mean, what use is it one flower to me now? Now I've invested this much, eh, Martin?
Yep.
I'm going to have to really get rid of the glue strands before I finish it. Missed a bit here. Sorry, is this a bit boring?
No.
Well, it probably is. I'm trying to go quickly, but this is as quick as I'm going. let's just see, I've got this pink flower. Now I've got a couple of choices up here for a wee frame. We could do something like this, or we could do something like that. I think that one's nicer because it complements the green. Ooh. Now once these are done, I'm going to spray seal them. Hang on, my glue gun's got a wee bit gluey at the end. Did you see how brave I was there, Martin?
I saw that, darling. You were very brave.
My glue gun's switched off. That's why the glue's not coming out. We're going to have to halt proceedings because I don't think that's probably enough to glue that on. Might be. Oh, yeah, it is. Right. Okay. So in a minute, I'm going to stick that on there. I'm going to stop the camera, mooch about for some pink, and then we're going to see how we can put a wee bit of pink into here. I still think I've got a few leaves left. I might cut those out and have that kind of cut this here and here. I could have that coming under here like that with that flower on it, up there like that. I know how I'll introduce the pink. I'll get a skip brush and do some wee pink leaves coming out here. We've got it all going on now, haven't we? They went from quite plain to crazy, but that's okay. I'm having fun. Right, okay, I'll be back. I'm just going to glue these things on here and we'll come back. We'll put some pink on them. I'll remove the shades and then let's see what we can do with the base, okay? So what I'm doing is, because I've added the hot pink with the things that you iron on, I'm having to do something like add a bit of pink, which really didn't think the lampshade needed it, but you have to kind of tie it all together, and now it's grown arms and legs. Martin nearly, I don't know what he thought a minute ago, had these plastic birds sitting at the table. He went, "You're not adding them to this as well."
She was like, no. I just wanted to look at them. I haven't seen them in a while.
I was just looking at them. They're not the right colour, or I would have tried to attempt it. This is actually quite good because it's sorting out those little bits that with the transfer. I promise these lampshades have gone on forever, and they're just lampshades. I'm sure I probably spent as long as this on a bit of furniture. Oh well, I did have to wait until I got new trim, and even then it's slightly different shade of green, but we're just rolling with it now. Right, okay, that's how we've got my touch of pink. Just kind of work that round there. Just a wee hint of pink around this edge. Yeah, right, okay. I'm going to do the same to the other one, take the shades off, and we'll come back and we'll try and bougie up the base now, because I mean, let's face it, it's gone in a whole direction. I was thinking tasteful autumnal when I started. Tasteful and autumnal was what I thought. Now it's not. It's neither autumnal or tasteful. I like them, but I'm unusual. If this is the first video you watch from me by Mally, I promise it's not always like this, but I'm having fun. And I suppose at the end of the day, if you're enjoying it, that's what it's all about. And I am. And you know what? Yeah. I enjoy them so much, I might even put them in my own home. Yeah, I will. Right, okay, I'll go and do the pink part and we'll get these off.
What?
Okay, you needed to have seen Martin's face a minute ago. I said, "Oh, I'm thinking of having a wee look at the rooster feathers and doing something busy at the top," and he just went. So then I showed him my idea and he still went. So I'm thinking I've got 3 of the rooster feathers, and I tried to get the sort of green. I tried to get the greenish ones, and I'm going to stick those down in there. So I'm going to go with the orange one first. Oh, Martin, it's good. It's good for the soul.
It is.
We can call this the dopamine lampshades part 2.
Part 2.
Right. Another feather. I want them a bit more jaunty than that. One more. I just pulled these off of the bright fluorescent orange binding that we all saw yesterday.
There's still the evidence of that bright orange there.
I know, but there's orange there, Matt.
I know.
That's okay. We can
It all ties in nicely, doesn't
we
it?
can have it. You're horrid. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's got a certain something. I don't know what that something is. Now, okay, this time I'm definitely going to go, and I've just put some bougie feathers in the other one as well. I'm not going to do a huge amount to these because I thought there's already quite enough going on up the top. So what I'm going to do is just try to kind of gently wipe some of this paint off, sort of wet distress. I'm just making sure my cloth is wet. Sometimes if it's been on for a while, if you use warmer water, it works better. But let's see what we can do just to reveal some of this. Now we can only do this where there was gold. We can't do it where there was that plastic beading stuff. So not too much, just a wee bit of a wipe. Should make them look quite nice. Sometimes I quite like wet distress. It's like as if it's magic. But not really if you knew it was gold underneath, but okay. If your cloth gets a wee bit dry, just stick a wee bit more water on it. Don't want a soaking wet cloth either, you know, there's a happy medium. I don't want to go too mad with it. Just want to bring out a little bit of the detail. Excuse me, sorry. I'm joking. Now, what I was going to say about my lampshades, I understand and appreciate they took a very strange turning, but don't let that put you off, because just follow the principles that I've done, but just use calmer colours if you're too scared, or you don't have it so clashing almost. You know, just you do you on that, and if you think, oh no, that's awful, but because everybody's got different tastes, but I just think that that's my kind of like bouginess. I'll do this little rose part up here as well, just a quick wipe, because it had the brass, well, the faux brass, the resin covered gold, let's see. More water in my cloth. Now, just about happy with these. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply some clear wax, and then I'm going to apply some dark wax. Then none of the rest of it was the brass colour, so I don't want to keep, if not I'll just be uncovering the plastic that I had. Do a bit of scrape there. Right, okay, so clear wax, dark wax. I'm using Annie Sloan's dark wax, and this is Rust-Oleum clear wax because my Annie Sloan clear wax is over there and under that furniture, so this is what we're using right now. It's kind of the last sort of remnants. How do you wax? Well, you basically just go to town. Make sure that you've got a brush that gets into everything and it's quite dense. I use a different kind of brush if I'm waxing furniture than I do when I'm doing items like this. So this is a sort of quite a dense brush. Just twirl my lampshade around. Just doing it in sort of sections so that I know where I've waxed and where I haven't waxed. You can see instantly how the wax changes the colour, and wax really brings out the colours in a lot of furniture. I would probably wax more than I do, but it's just that when it's going out to a customer, I like it to be like have a really tough coat, a really durable coat. I don't want that customer having to come back in 3 years and go, can you re-wax my piece of furniture? So, because wax doesn't last forever. It's something that on furniture you have to keep re-waxing. So, but it does make your furniture feel completely different. It really does. It feels buttery and smooth and nice. Right, okay, so we've done that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of dark wax on my finger. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to get a brush because I want to get into some of this detail. This is a real fuzzy old brush, but this will be perfect. let's just put some of this in and around. Not too much, don't want to go too quickly. I'm going to rub it in with the clear brush because it could have the propensity to get quite dark quite quickly. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going round where there would be shadows. And I'm just kind of, helps if I get the right edge of the brush. And I'm going to repeat this process on my other one. Now, I've got my feathers on, but I realise I have to spray seal them, so I'm going to have to be kind of mindful when I spray seal. I don't want my feathers, my bougie feathers, getting all disarrayed, do I, Matty?
Well, that's the last thing you want to do. Because yeah.
Yeah, it's been a video. Not everyone can be outstanding. Some of them have to just be what I'm wanting to do.
Don't get me wrong. I do think they're cool. I do. I think this video has been a little bit, maybe tiny little bit too much hijinks.
Yeah,
you know,
a
but,
wee bit too much entertainment, and it's.
But at the end of the day, it is about entertainment, isn't it? You know,
it is, and it is about having fun. So, you know, I think I'll be forgiven.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the comments. Oh no, that's just awful.
I think none of this will surprise your regular Thursday night crew, but for those of you who don't know, we have a YouTube channel membership, and there's a regular Thursday night live, and that can degenerate into a bit of hilarity
Humour.
sometimes, can't it?
Oh, it's really funny. Such a nice group. Not cliquey, just friendly. You know, see from when new people join, it's nice. Now, I want to be sticking some dark wax down in there because that's where I would like a bit of definition. Now, there's no real art to this. Well, there isn't, but I mean, you just put it where you think you might want it, where you'd like a little bit darker, and you just, if it gets too dark, then what you do is you just get your clear wax, and it's like a kind of eraser. It just takes it away and get a cloth, and so kind of buff it back if you think it's got a little bit dark. But that's how that looks now, and it looks completely different. If I put this one beside this one, you can actually see the difference that the wax has made to the colour, and it's made it more green, which is great because that coordinates with my fringe, because my fringe is a little bit radioactive. But I mean, I just, after 2 days in a row getting the wrong thing, I just thought that's it. It doesn't matter now. That's what's happening. Yeah, okay, I'm going to get undo this one now, and then we'll do the big bougie reveal at the end. Okay? Okay, well, that was an interesting turn of events. I think it's okay to change your mind, and sometimes certain events, like me not concentrating on buying trim and buying radioactive rooster trim, made me change the direction, and things like that are okay. And then I found some more things and I decided to do that. And it wasn't structured like my furniture. It wasn't thought out. It was just fun. And I really have had a laugh doing these, and I'm going to keep them because I like them.
Yeah.
But I understand these are not to everybody's taste, so just change it up. You can decorate lampshades, you can paint them, you can stamp them, and you can put transfers on them, and you can put whatever trim you want on them.
Well, I think it's like, you know,
Everybody's different.
look at them. You all saw what these started off like at the beginning.
Yeah.
So they don't look anything like it now, do they?
I must admit, I think this just makes me giggle now. It went out, it really did make me giggle near the end. But I like them, and I've had fun doing them, and I think that's important. So and do you know what they're sitting on? This piece is there's a whole video for this, for those that have bought furniture.
So show them the whole thing.
Yeah, show them the whole thing. For those that have bought furniture in a box, obviously there's just over a 2-hour tutorial on how to use the paper and what to do. And this is what I've done with one of the papers and furniture art in the box. So that's what it's sitting on, because it was green, but it's a little bit kind of didn't work. So I'm just showing you what it was sitting on. If you've enjoyed this video today, give us a like, give us a share, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and please, if you've been watching us for a while and you haven't subscribed, this could be the one that tips you over the balance. You might go, do you know, it's that crazy woman. She's crazy, but you know, I like her. So stick with us and you'll be fine. Martin, do you have anything to add?
No, I really enjoyed this one. This was good fun. This was.
He was still laughing about the rooster trim this morning, and he was still giggling about it when we came over to do this, finish the filming. He's been quite naughty about it, and he even took clips out of the video and sent them to my daughter so she could laugh
I'm not
too.
naughty.
You are naughty, lovely Martin. Right, okay, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.